trends of VC money this year have been slowing down of investment in gaming, consumer tech, edtech, e-commerce. Lesser money is coming in. Crypto, SaaS and fintech are flat. The highest investments or the rate of growth is coming in retail, consumption, energy and EVs. Why that trend? And if that is the trend, what is the opportunity for somebody building a business today?
So I have a controversial view on this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think as an entrepreneur, you shouldn't care two hoots about what you just read out.
But if you're entering an industry which is being funded or the rate of funding is going up, isn't that a tailwind?
Terrible way to think about business opportunity as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, what will happen is by the time you have to raise your round.
Yeah, okay. Let me gloat a little bit about my skill. I think I'm looking 10 years out. I want to see what's $1 billion opportunity 10 years from now. If I'm a good VC, and my counterpart should be a good entrepreneur who's also thinking that way. We're not building for 1 year, 2 years. These are all cyclical. You'll have a short-term cycle, you'll have a medium-term cycle. How do I care what's hot? I need to find 5 intelligent people who agree with my point of view. And you just said gaming is down. He says he made 5 investments this year. Mm-hmm. So he's bullish.
Right.
Go find him.
Right.
If you are bullish on gaming.
Right.
So actually, the point was not that, Nikhil. So I didn't mean to come across rude, but the point is, if the entrepreneur is building into a market trend, it's a very, I'm going to be rude to the entrepreneur, it's a very 80s style of building. You're trying to go where the money is. You're trying to go where the opportunity is. What is your advantage? What is your distinctive advantage? And what is your passion about building into that space?
So actually I have I partly agree that you shouldn't kind of go after a market that's currently being touted as the next big thing. I think that's the wrong thing. But I think entrepreneurs should have a macro global view and a macro country view on where things are going. Just to kind of talk about a sector we have not spoken so much about, climate tech, right? I think there is global shifts in multiple ways. That being more an NGO funded space now to where VCs are really looking at climate.
Are you talking about geoengineering?
Multiple aspects of it. I mean, because you spoke EV, I didn't want to see specifically EV, specifically new materials.
Right.
I think there are a bunch of opportunities in climate tech going beyond just the energy, kind of the stuff that you spoke about. And if I were an entrepreneur today, I would look at, where are the climate tech opportunities and the related stuff, right? 10 years down the road, like he was talking about. Energy, EV, or aspects of it might be already played out for somebody starting out today.
So I'm not trying to get specific here. I'm trying to figure out what can we tell people if they work in those sectors in the next 10 years, their odds of getting lucky are slightly higher.
So I'm saying the annual trends which generally reporters tend to write about is way too short term is my only point.
Agreed. But what are those trends that you are bullish about in the next 10 years?
I think a lot of the stuff that Rajan and Prashanth spoke about.
Consumption?
I would say consumption, also
global consumption, right?
Global
Tapping
consumption.
into global consumption, I think, is a huge opportunity.
To take off from where Rajan put the number, we've been at that 40% number for 12 years now. We've always had companies, and we put it on a deck that this is the India opportunity. Don't come to India trying to buy India consumption. It's a terrible story to sell. What we are is very good at building world-class products, and 40% of our portfolio will be built for the globe, right? So and for that, like Rajan said, you've got to be world-class from day one. There's no time to catch up. Some Israeli company or some Singaporean company will beat your backside.
Right.
So therefore you got to be supreme in software engineering skills or understanding an enterprise product need or a developer tool need or a robotic product or printing 3D artificial livers or whatever it may be. But you got to be world class. There's no leeway for saying I'll catch up in 5 years. Right? Yeah. In venture, it's different when you're doing solar cell production with PLIs. In venture, there is no leeway, right? So we would love to see, and this is where I think we're beginning to touch the tip of the iceberg. We were at Freshworks, one unicorn in SaaS in 15 or 16. Now we have about 15 to 20 of them. I think the first ones will happen in deep tech / manufacturing, not of the consumption variety, of really cool deep tech, like autonomous robots and EV components and things like that, where we can build global companies. And when that happens is when the ecosystem breaks out big time. Because you need poster children. You simply can't sit here and say, let's do it. And by the way, we're all guilty of this. We're also looking for patterns.
Right.
You're saying, dude, nobody has done this. How do you think you're going to be the first guy ever to do this, right? And so some entrepreneur fights all traditional...
So that's really, that's a question I had for all of you actually. Like, how do you not get sucked into this? Like, how do you, because it's really hard to figure out what will click in 10 years from now, right? I mean, it's a...
No, I think that's where I'll admit a little bit. And I don't know if Karthik has to agree to this, because I think you also need to know what currently the ecosystem broadly wants to invest in. Otherwise, companies can't raise money, Karthik.
Fair point.
Right?
So they have to survive the 10 years.
They have to survive, right? They survive the 10 years. So directionally, they should be in a space that is going to help them raise capital. So that's important. So you can't, you can't be in IC engines and...
So when we drew up the map in our evaluation matrix, it was an adaptation of what Mark Anderson drew up in 2006. In fact, it's a public blog. I think I did it before Fund 2, 2014. We basically understood that you can't get seduced by ideas and trends. And essentially, if you had to put a weightage, we essentially internally assign 40, 40, 20. And our evaluation forms actually make us comment on that. 40 is market opportunity. What's the house view on whether you actually believe this market's going to break out big, right? Entrepreneur can't be educating you. You have to have a house view in our view. The second is, do you think this kid or this girl with their team can actually build $1 billion business?
That's the next 40, is it?
Yeah. I don't see how that can be substituted by let's hire a CEO. Right? Not in the venture journey. Private equity, it's all cool because you're already making profits, you're stable. The last 20, to Prashanth's point, is capital markets. Are you like totally against the trend in terms of what might get picked up? And we paid the price, that's why we've learned. You try and do cool deep tech stuff in 2011, nothing moved for 5 years.
Hi, I'm Nikhil Kamath. I'd love to know what you thought of the episode. Comment, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.